Wait, what's the name again? Ferdinand Porsche. No, I never heard of him. New auto design firm, huh? Ah, cool. Yeah, but hey, why are you telling me? A car for everyone. Like a folk car. Okay. Hey, are the Nazis involved? What? No, look, sorry, I gotta go. Yeah, we don't have time.
Headline of the month. On Jewish New Year, the Nazis show their true faces.
I'm Indy Neidell.
I'm Spartacus Olsson.
This is The Rise of Hitler. Welcome back to the Weimar Wire, covering all of September's simmering scandals, shattered schemes, and sinister stirrings across Germany and the world.
Another top headline. A French state visit evokes strong emotions in Germany.
While the Austro-German customs union is dead, killed by the League of Nations and Austria and Germany themselves. However, before we can get to that, we should recap August.
Germany's financial crisis spread to Britain, threatening the global economy and toppling Ramsay MacDonald's Labour cabinet.
In Berlin, SA thugs clashed with communists after the failed Prussian referendum, a far-right attempt to oust the SPD, Social Democrat-led state government there.
His failure was hailed as a victory for democracy.
Now let's have a look at where's Hitler? What's Adolf up to now in September?
This month brings a deeply personal loss for Hitler.
On September 19th, Angelika Gaily Oelbal, Hitler's niece, who lives with him in his apartment, is found dead with a gunshot wound to the chest. A suicide?
Well, rumors soon circulate that Hitler is more than a mere grieving uncle.
A mysterious affair, the suicide of Hitler's niece. On the 18th, there was a heated argument between Mr. Hitler and his niece. The vivacious 23-year-old Gaily wanted to travel to Vienna. She wanted to get engaged. Hitler was firmly opposed. This was a recurring source of conflict between the two.
She also used Hitler's gun for the suicide. On top of that, at least according to the Munich Post,
the nasal bone of the deceased is shattered. The corpse also bore other severe injuries.
Suspicious.
Yeah, suspicious.
Hitler's relationship with his niece has long been the cause of much speculation, with everything from a controlling uncle to an incestuous lover put forward.
Hitler sues the Munich outlet for libel.
They present an account that is incorrect in key aspects. The truth is that I had no quarrel with my niece, that I was never opposed to her planned trip to Vienna. I expressly draw your attention to the legal consequences of failing to publish this correction.
In the end, it is declared a suicide. Maybe it was. Well, here's something else this month. On September 11th, Hitler meets some German industrialists.
This is part of a larger Nazi strategy shift this summer.
Yeah.
They are no longer the extremist fringe party they were just a year ago. With real chances of success comes a realization.
The Fuhrer decided to systematically work on the key figures of the economy and the parties supported by them in order to pry loose, stone by stone, the building blocks of the government.
It's not just that. It is also a matter of winning large parts of the conservative elite to the Nazi cause.
Hitler's biggest hurdle here is to convince business magnates that the Nazi Party is not socialist, as its name might suggest, and that they shouldn't fear, but rather embrace the Third Reich, the Nazi vision for a new Germany.
For the moment, he doesn't quite succeed.
Most captains of industry retained their healthy skepticism about the Hitler movement during 1931.
They are laboring under a misapprehension.
Which is?
When Hitler says socialism, it has nothing to do with any popular understanding of the word. He has essentially redefined it to mean what he wants it to mean. Just have a look at this. I shall take socialism away from the socialists. Socialism is an ancient Aryan Germanic institution. Our German ancestors held certain lands in common. They cultivated the idea of the common weal. This is from an interview Hitler gave in 1923.
So, Hitler, sees ancient Germanic tribes as practicing socialism.
This is a real rabbit hole you've just uncovered, related to the occult aspects of the Nazi movement as a whole, more specifically, Ariosophy, a racist, anti-Semitic, esoteric quasi-religion.
There aren't any new groundbreaking archaeological discoveries of Germanic tribes reading Marx and Engels in like 100 BC to cover today, are there?
No.
Okay then.
There is one more thing to clarify. When Hitler rages against capitalists and bankers, he doesn't mean all of them. His hatred targets the world Jewry, which in Nazi thinking has deliberately gained outsized power in these spheres to suppress the so-called German master race.
And you know what? That provides a solemn transition to our headline of the month. The 12th of September and the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and the Kurfürstendamm riot.
Rosh Hashanah marks the start of the High Holy Days. It's a time of reflection and repentance.
Except that this year that won't be the case. On the 12th, around 7:30 p.m., 1,000 Nazi Party members, SA troops, and Stahlhelm paramilitary gather near Berlin's Kurfürstendamm.
Leading them are Wolf Heinrich Graf von Helldorf, recently appointed SA leader for Berlin and Brandenburg, and Karl Ernst, his underling.
This evening, Helldorf, true to his name, plans on unleashing hell. Not on everyone, mind you. He has a clear target in mind. Near Kurfürstendamm, there is a synagogue, and the evening prayers of Rosh Hashanah have just ended. People exiting their place of worship are greeted by shouts,
"Happy New Year! Death to Judah! Germany awaken!" Soon, yelling morphs into action. The SA men, in groups of around 50, begin harassing anyone and everyone they believe to be a Jew.
As people try to leave, they are surrounded, insulted, and eventually brutally attacked with knuckle dusters, clubs, and blackjacks. As one victim recalls,
There wasn't a single place on my body that wasn't cut or bruised. My face was smashed to a pulp. My teeth were knocked loose. My feet were soaked in blood, and my suit was spattered with bloodstains.
but soon the mood shifts dramatically. Now it's cries of death to the Jews, beat the Jews to death, die you vermin, you dirty dog, and things of that nature. Some targets, like one Erika Hecht, escape. She screams for help, but to no avail. She then takes a hefty blow to the head before ripping off her hat to show that she has blonde hair and therefore cannot be a Jew.
Another escalation occurs at nearby Café Reimann, frequented by Jewish patrons.
Shouting, "Happy New Year! Pack your bags, Sarah! The synagogue's on fire!" And "Bet you never dreamed we'd visit you today of all days!" SA thugs storm the cafe.
And the carnage begins. The large display windows are shot out, all the tables, cutlery, and furniture hacked to bits and pieces, and 2 shots even ring out directly into the buffet area.
The guests frantically flee, but once they escape the cafe, they are greeted by more Nazis on the streets, and the madness continues.
At the height of the violence, driving slowly up and down the street, standing in an open oval car like a revered general, von Helldorf eggs on smaller detachments and sends messages via motorcycle couriers to coordinate things.
He specifically instructs his men to scour the side streets as well to prevent any Jew from escaping. With him in the car is a large leather whip, the kind used by drivers of horse-drawn artillery.
The police arrive shortly before 9 p.m. after about 45 minutes of untethered Nazi violence. Order is slowly restored.
While many passers-by are appalled, there are also those who excuse or even justify the whole affair.
Why do these fat Jewesses go around so provocatively wearing furs and with bouquets in their lapels? People are right to feel aggrieved. Poverty on the one hand, and on the other hand, these toffs donned up to the nines.
Press reactions vary. The Judicial has this to say.
When, as on the 5th and 6th of September, National Socialist squads are allowed to sing unimpeded, "Only when the Jews bleed are we free," then one cannot be surprised. For us Jews, these events are a shattering realization. We live in a world of indifference and hatred that targets everything Jewish. In America, the president addressed the Jews with a message of congratulations for Rosh Hashanah, while in Germany, Jews in the capital experienced pogrom-like assaults. The Nazis could not disagree more. The Jews are currently celebrating the Jewish New Year. They could not refrain from harassing National Socialists with shouted remarks. In protest, this led to larger gatherings. No arrests of the Jewish provocateurs were reported. When will the day finally come when the German is master in his own house and no longer the servant of a foreign people?
Wait. There's more.
New prison sentences against National Socialists. Who has been stirring up class hatred among German workers for years? Was it the National Socialists? No. It was the Marxist mob and the masterminds pulling their strings, the Jews.
And what is the response? By September 23rd, 39 out of an estimated 1,000 Nazis have been arrested, 27 of whom are sentenced to between 9 and 21 months in prison. Sure, that is heavier than what they usually get for street brawls, but 27 convictions out of 1,000 people. Let's not pop the champagne.
That the police and the judiciary have Nazi sympathies is nothing new. In this instance, however, some directly call out the blatant failure of the defender of public order.
It's not just that it takes them 45 minutes, but also the fact that the Nazi offices, sometimes found in cellars, do not face any scrutiny.
It is almost unbelievable that the police failed to intervene precisely in the places where the threads of the riots converged and where the lower command of the criminal operation was able to receive and transmit orders without disturbance.
As for who's responsible, the Welt am Montag offers an explanation. Nazi MP Joseph Goebbels commanded the pogrom. The severe National Socialist riots that partly took on a pogrom-like character were carefully planned in advance. A plan was precisely defined during a leadership meeting at the Berlin district office.
Goebbels is now scared.
Yeah.
He isn't scared for himself. As MP, he enjoys immunity for the most part. Rather, he is concerned about von Helldorf and Ernst. If the same judges preside over their case as over the 27 already sentenced Nazis, these SA leaders could receive similarly long sentences. That could be a headache for the whole movement. So he swallows his pride and strikes a bargain with the enemy.
He meets German Chancellor Brüning on the 25th and demands that von Helldorf and Ernst be granted a separate trial with a different judge.
Brüning says yes, but only under one condition. During the upcoming French state visit to Berlin, the Nazis have to cause no public disturbances.
Brüning is well used to Nazi harassment.
Yeah, and the atmosphere in Germany specifically regarding France is very polarized, shall we say. So Brüning doesn't need any of that.
Goebbels reportedly said he was in a position to prevent that under any circumstances. So a bargain is struck. Now, one clarification. This meeting likely took place, but we have no unbiased sources to confirm it definitely did.
All this is a very convoluted way to get to our other top headline, the French delegation arriving in Berlin.
This is a momentous occasion. The first official French state visit on German soil since 1878. Wow. On the 27th, French Prime Minister Pierre Laval and French Foreign Minister Aristide Briand arrive in Berlin.
Over the course of 2 days, they meet with the who's who of German politics. Chancellor Brüning, Foreign Minister Julius Curtius, and President Paul von Hindenburg.
The mood is not great, though. Even Brüning himself is worried about the visit, and the reception of the French dignitaries is somewhat muted.
One factor that significantly contributes to Brüning's worry is the security situation.
Added to this is internal weakness. The Austro-German customs union, proposed in March this year, is dead. It was intended to provide both Germany and Austria with an economic boost during these dire times.
However, from the very beginning, the initiative faced opposition from France. Now, on the 5th, the International Court of Justice in The Hague rules that a regime established between Germany and Austria would not be compatible with Protocol No. 1 signed at Geneva on October 14, 1922.
That refers to the Treaty of Saint-Germain from 1922. And that says that Austria can do nothing to undermine its own sovereignty. It is a post-war settlement, and as you can imagine, France is a signatory to it.
But by this point, the ruling is already a foregone conclusion. 2 days earlier, Curtius and Schober, the Austrian foreign minister, already made a declaration.
The plan for the customs union is not to be pursued further.
This is because international pressure regarding the issue kept mounting because Austria and Germany eventually planned to expand the union to other European countries.
This, ironically, given that Aristide Briand, the French foreign minister, promoted the idea of some sort of European union in May last year, is a no-go for France.
Should there be a European Union of any kind, it should be the result of French, not German initiative according to the French.
Right.
However, it's not only France. Britain, Italy, and the other states also signaled opposition.
This is a blow to the Brüning government, and Foreign Minister Curtius in particular. The German people are dissatisfied with their government and with France.
The reason for all this is the current situation in the Reich. Unemployment and economic crisis reign supreme, and Germany, for better or worse, is even dependent on France's help. With the customs union dead and France to blame, this just becomes worse.
Now, being dependent on who many consider Germany's arch political and military rival is a blow to the pride of many German patriots and nationalists, as we can see from the Nazi press. While they do keep their word and refrain from making any public displays, they never said anything about making commentary.
The French are coming. In shame and anger over the injustice France has inflicted upon us, Berlin will maintain the coldest and sharpest reserve in response to this attempt, leaving it to the government to greet the representatives of the enemy nation with triumphant cheers.
Hitler himself refuses to see any French journalists. So what is discussed? Originally, the meeting was supposed to center around two main topics: disarmament and reparations.
However, economics and uncertainty make any progress on these issues unlikely. The perceived French hard stance in regards to helping Germany doesn't help.
Well, come on. Surely the Germans have to realize that, given the World War and all, the French citizens would not support a government extending Germany a friendly hand.
Yeah, maybe some Germans, meaning the government, understand that, but the average Hans does not. In the end, the meeting results in a symbolic gesture, the establishment of a Franco-German trading commission.
But there are nevertheless some funny aspects to this, right? Hindenburg, 15 years Briand Sr., jokes about Briand that...
The journey must have been really exhausting for the old chap.
And, I like this, Pierre Laval, French PM, reportedly has issues getting his hands on sauerkraut.
He is disappointed that it is absent from the state banquets, so on the last night in the hotel he orders it. A grave mistake. Laval says he was greatly troubled during the night by indigestion.
But the best part, that's funny to some and not funny to others, right? Depends if you're, how you feel about things like that. But this is funny. He gets up, he's got to get up. He can't stay in bed or anything. And he paces up and down the corridors of Hotel Unter den Linden. And every time he passes a security detail, they have to salute. And this is like 10 times. He keeps walking back and forth. I just keep having to do that.
That's sauerkraut for you. But hey, what's been happening in the wider world? Let's check out the Global Wire.
A failed Austrian coup on September 13th.
Yep. A coup attempt erupts in the state of Styria. The Heimwehr, a right-wing militia, tries to bring down the local government and even threatens a march on Vienna.
But the Austrian army steps in, the revolt collapses within hours, and the ringleaders are arrested. For now, the republic stands.
Then, off the coast of South America on September 1st, the Chilean Navy mutinies with disgruntled sailors seizing ships and ports.
This leads to a surreal situation where the Chilean army and air force attack their own ships. The rebellion is over within 6 days, but it is a hell of a headline while it lasts.
Across the channel, Britain's economic crisis deepens as unemployment hits 2.8 million.
Wow.
As confidence in the pound collapses, the government abandons the gold standard on the 20th.
As a result, within 10 days, sterling loses a fifth of its value. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Egypt follow Britain's lead, and a run on the US dollar, still backed by the gold standard, begins.
But the most explosive news comes from the Far East. Literally. On September 18th, a bomb explodes along the Japanese-owned railway near Mukden in northeastern China.
The Weimar Wire can confirm the Japanese army staged the explosion, then claimed it was necessary to occupy Chinese territory to protect Japanese lives. Within days, Japanese troops advance and Chinese cities fall to them.
China lodges fierce protests at the League of Nations, and specifically, the Soviet Union is fuming. Japan, it seems, is rewriting the rules of diplomacy by breaking them. The League is speechless. Whether it's toothless remains to be seen.
And before we wrap up, here's the Weimar Wire political indicator brought to you by Time Ghost.
The Hamburg state election offers a telling snapshot of the republic's shifting political terrain. The Nazis and the communists are the big winners, both getting over 20%, together capturing nearly half of the vote.
While the SPD maintains top spot, barely, all the center parties lose further ground. Together with the tense atmosphere and the customs union debacle, this means extremes up, and the rest down.
And that's the month. though many questions remain.
Was Rosh Hashanah just the beginning? Will this become a regular occurrence? Also, what punishment will von Heldorf and the Nazi Party face?
Is the French-German relationship at rock bottom, or can it sour further?
Will Bruning's government survive the domestic blowback to the custom union's failure? Will we see a new government?
What about China? Will the League of Nations prevail, or is this the first nail in its coffin?
And looking at Hamburg, is it just a matter of time before the Nazis clinch the top spot in an election?
Did Gilly kill herself, or was she murdered?
To get answers to all of this and more, tune in next month to the Weimar Wire. And in the meantime, if you want to know more about the Customs Union, check out our March 1931 episode.
If, on the other hand, you want to learn more about the French proposal for a united Europe, check out the May episode of the same year.
Together with the Time Ghost Army, we shed light on some of history's most important and often neglected moments. To become part of the mission, head on over to timeghost.tv or patreon.com. Excelsior! Hey, you know, sauerkraut is supposed to be the topic of today's Schnitzel or Schmaltz, right?
No, I didn't, but that's fitting. Maybe I'll stay and learn.
Hey, if Pierre Laval ever comes to your house, you will be prepared. And you can have him bring the snails.
Escargot and sauerkraut? I don't think Europe is ready for that kind of Franco-German alliance.
I'd try it. Well, let's ask the cooks. Hey, Anna.
Anna.